shut.
Can't accept your own body, so you violate theirs.
Welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. We post 3 videos a week. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated and go to asart.space for all the audio and video links. We love the boys. We do deep fakes of the boys. We review the episodes. We have cool shirts. We have cool coasters. And now we're going to break down the VFX.
Cool visual effects episodes.
Of season 2. We're going to actually do quite a bit of shots, but this is just a handful of shots. We just want to go in detail like our old Witcher videos. We break down tons of VFX movies too. We'll put all the links and descriptions and stuff everywhere, but we already did season 1. Now we're going to cover season 2. And there's so many cool shots. It was even tough to where to start. We didn't want to do all the best shots at once. We want to do a variety of different types of shots from 3D to comping.
And just as a heads up, we haven't really reviewed these ahead of time. We're just looking and giving our best kind of somewhat educated guesses. So if you find making ofs, send us links we'd love to see. So we're just kind of making somewhat
there was nothing on the internet when we were looking for it.
For season 2, there's not much. For season 1, there's a few things, but for season 2, not that much. So should be really, really fun. We're excited to go through these stuff. So want to go and get started?
Let's get started.
Remember Melissa Dabrowski?
All right, so we're starting off with one of my favorite scenes in season 2 altogether, which is the deep with the gills.
Yes.
So really, really fun stuff.
Epic.
Yeah, so really
lead us through, Johnny.
All right, so if we go and take a look at this, and it's not nearly as good without the sound, but just taking a look at it. So
we can do the sounds. Hi, I'm Mr. Gill. I'm just kidding. No.
So when you first took a look at this, what was your first guess that you had on how they went about
this? My guess was they obviously did a track. He probably has some tracking markers on him. And with that track, they created a basic 3D model, kind of like we saw with Starlight, remember, in season 1?
Just a generic, yes.
And then based off that model, it's already tracked with the movement. They have a 3D gill on top of it that they animate and all that stuff.
And it's pretty complex stuff because if you think about what's going on here, an object track that they did for Starlight, it was just a kind of a generic 3D model of a person, not really man or woman or anything like that. But here, not only do they have to animate the overall shape of the abdomen, but they actually have to animate when he's breathing and he's moving. You have to comp in the vest and how that's moving, how that's, kind of making the skin move as well.
Oh, and that's a good one of the breathing right there.
Yeah, it is. And skin is a pretty hard thing to do. Now, do you think these areas that we're seeing in these areas, do you think that's not really moving? Do you think that's actually on his body?
It could be makeup.
And then they're animating just a little section. And so if we try to think, so if they're putting 3D sections on here, so it's not just moving around, it's actually animated. So that's probably 3D. But if you had to think about where they're splicing in 3D with his real skin, because hair is kind of hard to do, and he's moving so organically, and you're breathing and everything. So you'd think they would not want to replace more than they have to, but it's like the Invisible Man. You don't just replace the Headless Horseman. You don't just replace this little section because everybody's looking right there. So you might extend it out beyond that area. So do you think they did it like a split all the way through? Do you think they split it up here? And this is kind of similar. I don't know why Terminator always comes up, but in the Terminator Salvation, where they had Arnold reappear as a younger guy, they had a bodybuilder that had a similar build, and then they spliced in a CG head, and they spliced it in somewhere around here. So I'm curious, based on the deep, like where they maybe spliced in. So if you're looking, do you think, they did such a good job with these comps, do you think there's a specific section they maybe tried to splice in his CG body with the body?
It looks like it's going off to a hard, dark area.
Yeah, and so
that's probably comped that way, right? They probably crushed it.
I imagine they probably adjusted the levels here to help bleed it in. Either that or they very smartly lit it like that to begin with. But they could definitely get away with this kind of going dark here, which would definitely help with the kind of merger on this end. Over here, I'm thinking maybe this area might be, all the way down to here. It actually looks like the color might be a little bit different if you just look at it right around there, kind of around this area. And then up here, this gives you a nice natural composite line since you get shading there. So there's a possibility, but again, we don't know for sure. It's just kind of fun looking at these.
It's cool that the gills are different, though. You can see more detail on the one on the left.
It's not just a perfect mirror. And again, the kind of cool thing about this is he's breathing the
There's
whole
like
time.
water coming out too when it talks.
Oh, I didn't even notice the water. Like a lot of fun. So if you think about, we've had some really hardcore effects in this series, but this is so subtle, but yet this is on screen for so long. This has probably cost a lot of money and time to do. I mean,
That's
I
why
don't
they
know for
only
sure.
did eight episodes. Right?
The Deep's Gills ruined the rest of the episodes.
Yeah.
But so let's go. I think this is kind of our whole section here for the Deep.
So yeah, let's jump
any
to
other
the
thoughts?
next
And
shot.
if you look here, like clearly this is either 3D or like real because it's popping out here.
true.
So it can't just be like a 2D effect. So they're
It's
not.
it's not a the putt.
It's not the puppet tool. Yeah, it's not the puppet tool in After Effects. It's real 3D or real stuff kind of in there. But such a cool sequence. If you guys haven't like rewatched, this is probably one of the funniest kind of scenes in the whole movie. But really, really good stuff.
Im Schatten einen Apfelbaums.
So this is Anakin Stormfront. Anakin Stormfront. So this is a fun one. So when I first looked at this kind of reminded me of a shot from Interview with the Vampire, and it's a very quick shot. So there's a scene when when he finally meets the vampire-like clan or whatever, he slices this guy with a scythe, and he's on the ground. And they were saying like, I think Tippett Studios did that shot where just his upper body is just kind of moving around a little bit. It's really quick on screen, but when they were filming it, he told the actor, all right, we're going to basically bury you under a hidden platform, and the rest of your body is going to be under there. And it's going to be uncomfortable because it's really packed. It's like, well, how long am I going to be here? He's like, probably a little bit more than an hour. He's like, that's a long time to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But so here we're talking about like kind of the legs and the arm.
Yeah.
And they could be doing full limb replacements in certain spots, but so what are you thinking? How
I
thinking
don't
about
know.
it?
I see a lot of leaves there. I feel like they can easily put a hole in the ground and stick the legs down there. Because if you go back to the farther shot where we actually
The wider
see-
shot, yeah.
you can tell that I feel like her legs are a little long. Doesn't it feel a little long?
Maybe.
Where like or like that's where her knees would bend, and they just put the prosthetics on the.
So either
There's a lot of leaves there.
there's a
Gotta
lot of-
rake up those leaves.
Oh man! So my thought was they could be having
It's
her
a fire hazard,
bend her knee
especially
here.
with someone that can throw electricity around like willy nilly, like she did.
Really, no. So either they have her hiding her limbs, going into the ground, and they just have this popping out, or they had to do limb replacements, but that would be very hard. Notice
let's
a lot
see.
of these shots are
Yeah.
static shots. They're not really moving around.
It
It's
looks
like
like
a little,
the camera. It looks like it's like post movement.
yeah, like a post movement they added after the fact.
There you go. That's a good one.
So what do you think about here? So
I
her
think
face
she's trying to say
makeup for
something
sure.
like the Jedi are evil.
We're not breaking up. We're trying to guess that line. That's what this show is about.
I think she's saying it in German. Oh, what if she is? Because like no one knows what she is.
That would be hilarious.
Dang, can we? If you guys know
German?
understand
What did she say?
What did she say? I want to
See,
Google that
she was,
now.
I think the Jedi are evil. So, what do you? So you think this was a limb replacement or
Ooh, flappy.
taking out the limb? Oh, there's a little flappy there.
A little flappity
Yeah,
flap.
flappy. So do you think this is CG or do you think they did kind of?
I don't know. It's
they
so
have
quick.
her-
It could
do they
be
think
either.
they have her real limb somewhere else and this is an artificial limb that's just kind of being moved around, or is it
I don't know.
mechanical?
Maybe it's 3D because of all the detail that went into it.
And it is flapping
I don't
around
know.
a little bit.
I feel like they just kind of put like a jiggle, or not jiggle, but gravity.
That would be hard though, because you have to blend into her arm. You have to get all the shadows to cast. But the main
The
thing here is
cape's not moving.
this is a static shot. They made sure not to move it, and the rest of her body isn't moving around. They probably told her to stay really still to make it. So if this is CG, then yeah, they could have just replaced it here and lopped off. I don't know. That's kind of hard. That is
It
a
looks
kind of a guess.
CG-ish to me.
It does. It
It
does.
looks so much more blurry
Yeah,
compared
the
to
blur. Yeah,
her makeup on her face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look as good as. I don't want to say it doesn't look as good as the makeup, but
Well, I mean, we're going frame by frame, obviously.
yes. But I'm
and-
just saying now that we're looking at it, I
Yeah.
hope it's not darker.
Well, you
on
know what
the
it is?
capture
Is I
card.
think the highlights. Well, no, the highlights are about the same intensity. So yeah, they did a really good job. If this is CG, they did a really good job of matching it in. But it could be something. But
Bravo.
it could be something that they.
Good
they
job.
bring
I
in
mean,
as well.
all the shots are beautiful.
Yeah, really.
It's
really
just
cool.
you know what with visual effects, it's not the artist most of the time. It's the time. It's like the time constraints that they
Especially
have
in
to get
current
the shots
times.
on.
Yeah.
Yes,
In the past, you're limited
very
by
talented
technology.
artists out
Yeah.
there. It's never bad CG. It's just was there time for it? Was there a budget for it? Like that's the questions we should be saying. It's not like these guys suck at visual effects. No, it's not. It's more like, do they have the time? Do they have the resources? What computers were they rendering on?
And we have to remember, we're going frame by frame. This shot's there and gone so quickly otherwise that you don't have a time.
It's 3D, I think.
And you have to think about, also, we're watching this majority on TVs, not projectors. So it's not like it's in a theater where you're seeing it, 70 feet, hundreds of feet or whatever.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore, yeah. We'll see what happens in the future. But
thanks, COVID.
So really, COVID.
By the way, we were both tested before coming in here.
Yeah, so
John's favorite thing of the whole series.
Yes. No.
We didn't even put that one shot in there. The first head explosion.
The first head explosion. So the deep skills, probably my favorite of the season, but head popping, laughed hysterically.
But why is the head popping your favorite though?
It just catches you off guard when Huey freaks out. That's it.
Yeah.
When Huey freaks out.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. And it's the same thing.
He likes Huey's reaction,
Yes.
basically. That's why he likes it so
One
much.
of my favorite shots of the season as well is when A-Train surprises him in the back of the car.
Oh, yeah.
No special effects really, but just, really funny.
All right, so
All
here
right,
comes
so
the head
let's take a look
pop.
at this. Douche.
Oh.
All right. So let's go and take this slow. So you can kind of see they
So-
took a still frame and then moved it around and then added some blur, like a directional blur on it.
Yeah.
And then are we jumping to, because we see the color kind of changes here. So are we jumping to a different frame or
Well,
how do you think this is going?
I just think they recorded that separately because you don't even see the people reacting behind them unless there's like a delayed reaction.
Yeah.
But it covers the frame. It's not getting on anyone. That shot, the next one, they're shooting something on her probably. Yeah.
And so at first
She totally closes her eyes too.
she's
like
like,
she knows
all
it's
right,
coming.
and close. So the funny thing here is we thought maybe they were doing a cut frame because you see her hair and her ear move, but we think that's probably just whatever, like the compressed
The
air,
wind.
but yeah, from being pushed.
Yeah,
But
because her neck looks the same. Gosh.
it's so hilarious. They're just so fun. The
So how's
effects-
that looking on the desk? So that's obviously a fake body right there.
Yes.
So that's a different shot. That's practical effects right
yeah,
there.
Yeah. It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. Because you see it get on the back. Yeah, that's practical effect, which is awesome.
Which is great because you're seeing
Good job with
the
the prop
cast,
work.
the shadows and everything.
There might be someone underneath that, and they just like
Yeah.
kind of placed it on the
moving
head.
around a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, yeah.
Like the headshot. Maybe it's like, they
And so
pulled
do
the-
you think this final little burst here, do you think this is all CG stuff? Come on, I think so. It looks like it, yeah. No?
Yeah, I think it's practical. Maybe that. Yeah, maybe they added the spew afterwards.
The last one of the season when the guy's at the desk and his head explodes, like he just keeps shooting out. That's definitely like a fake body. But these ones come and go so quick. I mean, again, we're going frame by frame. So do you think they recreated his face just roughly and then that's the texture that's on there? Or do you think they just displaced his
Yeah, I just think they
still
just
frame?
Yeah, they just got a still frame and warped it.
And of course, we don't need to go through all these.
Go back
One,
really
because you're going to
quickly.
feel sick, but also they're probably
Where's the
using
center
something-
of the explosion on that one? Go ahead. Boom, boom.
It's off to the
Like
right
his
a little
cheek?
bit, right? Like over here?
Yeah, like his cheek.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going. Oh, but it jumps up to the top. Oh, interesting. See how like that feels
Yeah,
like
it's up
the
here.
center?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. I wonder if that's two different overlays. Maybe they used two explosions on that one.
And Nick was just like, just think at how much blood they were spraying on people in these shots. When you watch it real time, you just see how much is going on. Look at Homelander. He's like, oh my god.
Wait, he doesn't have blood on him there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
He would
gets
have blood on
sprayed
him,
and then
yeah.
they just cuts to it. But again, these shots go by so
Oh,
quick.
I guess he has a
you're
little bit
gonna
on his
notice-
forehead.
It is a little
Yeah.
bit. So what about these
Ooh.
background shots? Do you think that's just? I mean, it's still animating, so they really had someone back there. Do you think they just painted out the face?
I just
since
think
it's-
they roto out so they have like a middle ground, foreground, background, and we just don't see it get on anyone.
and it's kind of
so
out
quick.
of focus
Yeah.
back here, and it's quick. So yeah, they could probably get away with maybe
A lot.
2D effects on these.
Yeah, there's totally a roto.
Poor guy. There goes this guy. Gadoosh. So they probably use basically the
Ooh.
same stuff on all these. That poor girl's had a rough go in this series, hasn't she?
Losing
She's losing her
hair.
hair. Yeah, she got 2 shots in a row. Oh man!
And just
good
more
stuff.
explosions.
Yeah. So we probably okay. So that was all of them. So really, really fun.
Dude, that was intense.
Yeah.
With
So
the-
super fun stuff. We obviously picked out some gory ones for the
Yeah.
end. So if you guys are ready
Yeah.
for that, sorry about that. But really, really fun effects. There was so many cool effects that are subtle. Like
Yeah.
Whenever you're flying around and it's not a wide shot, that's probably wire work or
Yeah.
maybe motion control. I think that's
Yeah,
more of Razor
John really
Wolves.
wants to do the sex scene between Homelander and
That's an expensive sex scene. Again, wire work and wire removal. And
things
throwing around.
breaking.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And it just for the comedy of the show, it works so perfectly, including this
Yeah,
stuff.
and he also wanted to do the last shot when we see two moons, 2 full moons.
I can do whatever I want.
So John has some really good ideas for some VFX
Deep-rooted
breakdown.
issues like Homelander.
Yeah. So by liking and subscribing, it shows us that you guys like these videos, and
you get
we'll
more
continue
weird
to do
stuff
more.
from us. Yes. So thanks, you guys. If you have particular sequences you think would be fun to break down, because the fun thing about the show is you're not focusing on the visual. It's not just a visual effects spectacle like a blockbuster. It's about the story. So a lot of stuff goes by, and not until after the episode's over, I'm like, gosh, that was a lot of work for that stuff. So if you guys have sequences you think it'd be fun to break down, let us know, because we love this series.
Yeah.
It finally wrote me into it. So really, really good stuff. So you guys, hope you
And
enjoyed
then-
this. We'll be doing more breakdowns.
Yeah, and also Raised by Wolves. We're
Yes.
huge fans of HBO Max, and Raised by Wolves was a show we covered. We just covered like the
Just the end,
overall
yeah.
series, and now we're gonna break down some really cool sci-fi VFX stuff, which is like some worked and some didn't, but we're gonna talk about
So
it.
we would say
Like, we're good-
all of them work. We're talking about probably good, better, best. Like they have
Yes,
some really
exactly. That's
great
the right way to
examples,
say it.
and then they have some examples that really
Better,
stand out.
best.
And you can tell the budget constraints on certain
Yeah.
shots as well as
Yeah.
it goes on. So really, really fun stuff, you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next AsArt.